Okay, this is your extra practice for completing the square. So this was the review element that was at the very beginning of your 10.2 notes. This was originally taught back in Unit 6, or I should say it was originally reviewed back in Unit 6. You would have learned it before Honors Math 3. But you will need to be somewhat comfortable with Complete the Square to be able to do some of the problems that are in your 10.2 notes. And homework. So if you got to the end of that little review section and felt like you were still a little bit kind of rough around the edges with Complete the Square, here are 6 more. You can do any and or all of them. It's up to you. Because this is supposed to be extra practice, I would encourage you, if not from the beginning, at some point make sure you pause the video, try it on your own, and restart the video when you are either stuck and need a little bit of a helping hand or have an answer, whichever one you might find yourself in. I would say the first two I would call the simpler ones, not necessarily easy. Not everyone finds Complete the Square easy, but simpler, not as much work. And then as you proceed through them, they'll get more difficult. Okay. Okay. So go ahead and pause the video. Give number 1 a shot if you're going to. Restart it when you are ready. Okay. So with Complete the Square again, we want to get the x's and y's kind of grouped. Any constants over on one side. And so in this case, that would mean adding our 4 over to the other side. And if we had a y squared, we'd bring that y squared over with the x squareds, right? You want your x's grouped with the x squareds, y's with the y squares, etc. And then you're figuring out, well, what does this number here have to be so that I can complete the square? And then I'm also going to make sure it shows up on the other side of the equals to maintain equality. Okay, well, again, talked about it twice in the notes video, but it's always half of this, so 3 squared, which would be 9. If you add 9 to one side, you have to add it to the other, so this would be y plus 13 on one side. And then this over here factors to x plus 3 quantity squared, which is a parabola, hk, of -3, -13, and an a of 1. Okay? Okay, next one, pause the video, give it a shot, restart it when you're ready. Okay, we have x equals y squared minus 8y plus 1. So first thing, grouping, we're going to subtract this 1 over with the x because the x doesn't have any x squared to group it with. Okay, and so then the question is, what does this number have to be in order to complete the square? Well, half of this would be -4 squared is 16. And if you add it to one side, you have to add it to the other as well. Oops, I put 2 pluses on accident. Okay, and so on the left we have x plus 15 minus 1 plus 16, which is plus 15. And back here we have y minus 4 quantity squared. Okay. Okay, next up we have this one. Pause the video, restart it when you're ready. Okay, subtracting this 3 over, we have y minus 3, and then equals. There is a coefficient in front of this one, so we're going to go ahead and pull that 2 out. Excuse me. And the question becomes, what does this number have to be to complete the square? Okay, well that number, half of this would be -3 squared is 9. And then this is the one, remember, where we didn't just add a 9 in. I know it's tempting to want to say we added a 9 in, but technically speaking what we just added in is an 18. And so we're going to go ahead and put 18 on the other side. Okay? Y minus 3 plus 18 is y plus 15. For here we have x minus 3 quantity squared, which is a parabola, hk, of 3, -15, a of 2. Okay? Okay, go ahead and pause the video, give this one a shot, restart it when you're ready. Okay, adding this 6 over, we have x plus 6 equals, factoring the 1/2 out, 1/2 y squared minus 8y. Question is, what does this number have to be to complete the square? Half of this is -4 squared is 16. And remember, we just added an 8 in on this side. 1/2 times 16 is 8. And so I have to add 8 on the other to maintain equality. So this is x plus 14 equals 1/2 y minus 4 squared. And you have completed the square. Okay, 2 more here. Go ahead and pause the video, give this one a shot, restart it when you are ready. Okay, so completing the square, we have 3y plus 3 equals x squared plus 18x. Just forgot to leave a space. Okay, the question is, what does that number need to be to complete the square? Well, half of this would be 9. Squared is 81. So initially speaking, we have 3y plus 84 equals x plus 9 quantity squared. Now this one is almost in parabola form. The only issue here is we have 3y equals and we want it to be y equals to be in our parabola form. So we have 2 more things we need to do. First off, we need to factor out the 3. And then last but not least, divide that 3 over to the other side. That 3 becomes a 1/3 out front, which will be your A. HK will be -9, -28. Okay, last but not least, go ahead and pause the video. Give this one a last one a shot, and restart it when you're ready. Okay, we have 1/4 x plus 2 equals y squared plus 2y. Question is, what does this number have to be to complete the square? Well, half of this is 1. Squared is 1. So need to add that to the other side. So we have initially 1/4 x plus 3 equals y plus 1 quantity squared. Again, not quite in parabola form. We want this 1/4 to be gone. We want this to be x equals, not 1/4 x equals. So 2 more steps. Start by factoring out a 1/4. Which will allow you to divide this 1/4 over to the other side, aka multiply the 4 over to the other side, however it is you prefer to think of it. Remember, dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. Okay, that's 6 more complete the square ones. If you're still feeling a little bit weak and complete the square, send us an email. What is it exactly that you're needing supported? We are here to help you out. But if you're ready to go ahead and move back to your notes and continue from here.